We have Pete Crapia back with us.
Hello.
Pete's no stranger to paranormal radio. He's been on here a few times, and you got your own radio show too, don't you? Or is
that hit or miss kind of thing.
It's when you do it, you do
Mine's
it. Mine's
like a mobile operation at Bachelors Grove. So,
okay. Yeah. And Pete is like Mr. Bachelors Grove. If you go out to Bachelors Grove Cemetery, chances are you'll bump into Pete out there if the weather's good. Sometimes even if it's not. We have Mr. Julius Schwarzinger with us.
How you doing?
Julius is no stranger to paranormal radio. He's been here a few times.
Yep.
So we'll talk to him about some paranormal and some things that go bump in the dark and what's going on with him since last time we've seen him. And then we have the two young ladies that are representing the Midnight Terror Haunted House. And they are Miss Jasmine Flores.
Hello.
And Miss Ashley Martin.
Hello.
Hello, ladies. Nice to have you with us. You are both on for the first time.
Yes.
I've been after somebody from Midnight Terror for about 2 years to come on this show. And I says, do some promoting for yourselves. Come on. And finally... They've, because Justin Cherniak, that is, and John...
Schenkel.
Thank you, John. I don't know why I couldn't remember John's name, John Schenkel. I've known him actually longer than I've known anybody, because he used to do the Dark Summit haunts with the Intention Productions. So I know John from that. And I've been after him for a long time. I said, why don't you send somebody on the show and promote Midnight Terror and that, especially since I'm going to be doing a tour there with you guys. They're in connection with a tour, and I'll be sitting there doing palm readings there. Love to have you guys come on and say something about Midnight Terror. So, ladies, welcome to Paranormal Radio. Julius, welcome. Pete, welcome back.
Thank you for having us.
Nice to have you all on. We do have another guest, en route. If he shows up, we have another gentleman coming on with us too. So he'll be popping into the studio or if he gets here.
Yep.
So, using your cell phone, because I'm actually very interested in that, would that just be like voice recording?
Yes. Pretty much, if you feel like you're in an area that's haunted, if you feel like you're in an area that's haunted, all you do is put your phone on, you record it. Ask a question, wait 20 seconds or so, and repeat it a few times, and later on listen back at it.
Oh.
And you'd be amazed sometimes the stuff you get. Like Bachelors Grove, you get a lot of stuff over there.
We had a recent one just like that. Really good stuff.
Yes. I mean, most cemeteries, even if they're not haunted, you're going to get stuff.
They're still a cemetery.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, no, wait a minute. If it's not haunted, you're still going to get stuff. You are getting stuff.
Spirits are everywhere.
But are they always dead spirits?
We don't know.
Exactly.
We don't know that.
That's what I'm finding out with the Grove. I don't think we're dealing with dead people out there.
What do you think you're dealing with?
I'm not sure yet, but it's an intelligent presence.
I mean, it's
a long conversation.
Pete just
kind
of came into the conversation.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to introduce you.
That's fine.
It's Pete Crapia talking here. Pete Crapia is sort of the steward of Bachelors Grove Cemetery. He spends an awful lot of time. He's kind of specialized.
Too much time.
Yeah, he does. Well, no, it's your hobby thing. That's what you're passionate about, and he's very good at what he does over there. Not even so much concerned with the supernatural end of it, which he does a lot.
No, I'm upset.
But he's also with the historical end of it too, and all that kind of thing, like that, the history of the area and the history of the cemetery and that. So he spends a lot of time with that, a lot of research and stuff on that. Yeah. You're looking at me, John. Do we need to take a break? Oh, keep going. Okay. All right. Yeah.
No beer commercial.
So, I mean, what exactly do you do over there?
What do I do over there? Well, I have a lot of hobbies.
Yeah.
So it could be anything, all different types of things from day to day that I go there.
Okay.
When it comes to the paranormal, hell, I don't even need to go looking for it anymore. It just happens.
Oh, well.
And usually it's when you're not even thinking about it. And it can be spectacular. Stories that you wouldn't even believe. Stories you never heard about, read about. And, it just goes on and on.
Okay. Do you post any of this stuff?
Yes, I do.
Oh, actually, are you kidding?
Yeah, I don't. First time I met him.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. You just need to know how to find it.
Okay.
And there's a lot of crap out there as well.
Oh, definitely. That's the problem.
Crap. And, I tend to stay away from the crap, obviously, but you can't avoid it.
Okay.
It's not like I really publish it. I like the good stuff, I like our recent one, we had extremely loud voice come over. Some girls just whispering, and I'm like, is somebody still here? Or somebody here? And it's just so loud. And it had somebody speaking with somebody yiping with a 1.2 kilohertz tone in there.
Well,
it is the wildest crap.
Do you ever get any names?
And they didn't hear anything.
Do you ever get any names? Do you ever ask questions, ask their names, and do you get names? Or
historically, I can't find anybody that, because you got, hey, listen to my EVP and you can't hear crap. What's up?
No, I was just going to say I can't either. I've listened to many EVPs that people claim they have done it at Bachelors Grove Cemetery, and I can't get any names.
Right, so getting an actual name, I mean, I've had people tell me in the past, I was recording, let's say, near the entrance, and we had an audio recording, and somebody said Minna, and it happened to be on the headstone. Yeah. But, the recording doesn't say anything. You don't hear anything. You really don't hear anything.
Sometimes you hear, when we were out in Indiana, we hear, help me. I mean, we had something like perfect, but then we were like, What is your name? Nothing.
Right.
Every time we had an EVP, you never got a
When
name.
I find
want to
people-
know
See,
someone
what
who
is-
gets a name.
Here's where I have a problem with EVPs. Everybody says, "Oh, I'm still in the 19th century with ghost hunting," and I don't disregard EVP recordings as legitimate evidence. I don't, and I don't want to come across that way as that. No more than I regard spirit photography or anything else as not being credible evidence. But the trouble with EVPs is, like you yourself said, a lot of it is just basically nothing. It really is. A lot of it.
I
is
mean,
nothing.
maybe you
Now,
got
if you
something,
have
but
a
you don't know
medium-
what it is, and maybe it's worthy of
Exactly.
study.
Now, if you have a good medium, a good spirit medium with you, the medium can pick up on these things real quick, and they can give you some stories, even what's going on and all that. And I'm thinking to myself, now, God, if a medium can do this on their own with their own ability, they can get your names, they can do all this. If the medium can do that, now we have all this technology and this equipment, which is supposed to advance things. How come we're not getting that?
I think a lot of it's just crap. I mean, that's
Well,
my
it's
opinion
hard
as
to
an
discern.
investigator. But
When you read, that's why we research these things and we investigate. We investigate the investigations, because you have to really not really take things for face value and kind of investigate it and do it, yourself. Stuff like that. However, I don't totally blow off anybody's evidence. If somebody says they have something, they're okay.
Yeah, you're right.
But I'll listen to it. I'll see what I get out of it. I'll read, what time did you get this? Did you, who was with you? This type of thing
Right,
like that.
right.
And see if it's just somebody telling me a lot of hooey, or if it's just somebody out there playing with a thing and said, "Oh yeah, I got all this." Because
And we have those cases,
We all
too.
know on these investigations, and we've all done them how many times.
and you know who's
You don't
fake
get-
and who's not.
You don't
real
get
quick.
every single time.
Oh,
you go out there, you don't
there's
get these.
hilarious moments where I'll be at Bachelors Grove and somebody be doing an EVP, and they'll come back later and get in touch with me, and I'm like, I was there that day, and I know exactly what the hell happened. And
Shut 'em up
I
right
can't-
away,
No,
right?
I can't tell them that. I can't say, hey, you're full of shit, or you made a mistake. That's sorry, I think I just swore there.
That's all right. It's normal for you, Pete. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
when
I gotta
they
bleep that one
edit,
out,
before
huh?
the show's broadcast, they'll edit you out. But I have it on the original tapes because I tape all these, so I listen to it. Yeah.
But no, there's real stuff. That's the most important to me. When you start getting the real deal.
I went to Bachelor's Grove once. That
Well,
was-
you got to keep
that
going.
Just once.
You got to keep going and going
I'm
and going.
surprised.
You got to be obsessed.
And what, you just weren't impressed with it, or you thought?
No,
"Eh,
nothing to
whatever."
do with it. I went out with Laura Hannigan
Okay.
one
Sure.
time.
Yeah,
She went
uh-huh.
out there. We were out there for maybe an hour. There was nothing going on.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing. So
Try
stay
8
there.
hours.
See,
At a
that was
time.
that was my point. A lot of times when you go on these
Not worth it,
investigations,
huh?
and stuff,
No, I'm not saying it's not worth it, but 8 hours
Come
is.
for a walk with me. I'll show you some stuff.
Yeah.
a lot of times these investigations, you could be out there for an hour, you could be out there for 3 hours, 4 hours, and sometimes you get nothing. Another time you're out there
Right.
10 minutes.
That's
and you get all
anywhere,
kind of stuff. That's everything. And that's my point I'm trying to make, is every single time you go out there and run a recorder, don't expect to get something.
Exactly.
And but then don't get discouraged by that either, because that's normal. You're not going to get this all the time. If it was that easy, we'd have an awful lot of evidence out there. We'd have a real lot of evidence. Yeah. What are you looking at me for?
Nothing. I'm just thinking about all the evidence that is out there.
Oh, there is a lot. I know that
There
there's
is
a
a
lot
lot,
out there.
yeah.
But how much of it is legitimate and how much of it is? Hey, Jason, we have another gentleman that just walked into the store. Listen to me. I'm in a store.
The store radio.
Before I came here, I stopped at the Harlem Irving Plaza, so I'm still back in the mall, I guess. So Jason Sherman just entered the store, so to speak. He's going to join the show. We're going to take a break. We'll get back. We'll get Jason into the show, and stick with us, folks, and come back. Listen to some more tales from the ghostly world. Hi.
I'm all about this type of stuff. I've never really dug into it. Jasmine's more of a spiritual type person, so she's definitely extra intrigued.
So I actually live like 5 minutes away from Bachelors Grove.
Awesome.
So do I.
Um,
Welcome to my world. Yeah. I always say it's in my backyard. That's what I
Yeah.
tell people. Yeah.
So what's happened to you?
Where do you? You must be close to me if you're 5 minutes away. Where are you?
Yeah, actually, I'm in Orland Park.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm in Elsip, so
Oh, yeah, so like literally right there.
same direction, just opposite directions, but same
Right,
amount of same amount of travel time, just
We
going from two
meet
different
right
directions.
in the middle, right at Bachelors
Yeah.
Grove. When I was a kid, actually, my parents used to take me to Bachelors Grove every weekend.
Nice.
Like that was like our
That's a lovely
family thing.
family
We went to
outing.
Bachelors Grove, and then
Any personal experiences or anything? Sometimes as a kid, I love children's stories because kids sometimes are very open to this stuff.
You got
Really-
some maybe
really
stories or
receptive.
definite?
Well, the most definite story that I have was actually like a couple years ago, which is why I kind of like stopped going to Bachelor's Grove. No
Ah.
offense. So I was there with another spiritual friend of mine, and usually when I go there, I say like, "Hi, I'm just here to visit. Like, I just want to see what's going on." But this girl was like, "If you need anything, like, come to us. Like, we're here for you." So a spirit followed me home, and I can't see like faces or anything. But I could see like the figure of like a taller, like middle-aged man.
How tall are we talking, do you think?
About like 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And he followed me home.
Okay.
He took my phone for 3 days. I swear to God, he took my phone for 3 days.
The spirit took your phone.
Yes.
Well, so that.
So.
No, don't laugh.
Okay.
Just
No,
yet,
I didn't.
you know?
I didn't see me laugh. I just said
Yeah.
the spirit took your
Right.
phone.
It
Figure
was.
speech.
Yeah.
It was insane. So he took my phone. I didn't like really try to like dig deeper into like what he wanted. I kind of just wanted him to leave me alone. But there was one incident specifically where he wasn't following me just in my home, like literally to other people's houses as well. And I was at a friend's house and I took a shower, and after I got out, the shower rod was put into like molding specifically made for the shower rod so it wouldn't move.
Okay.
And I could see it in the mirror how it happened. It came up and out, so it made like an arc, and the shower rod ended up on the floor. So I asked my friends to come help me put it back up.
How long was this after your visit?
It was like 2 days after the visit.
Okay.
So she was trying to help me, and she didn't know how the shower rod worked, and she's like, "This has literally never happened before. I don't know how to fix this." So that was kind of like the final straw for me. So I do like witchcraft and stuff, but I mostly work with like angels and stuff like
okay.
that. So I asked my
Okay.
angels to like take this.
So your phone was lost before this incident?
No, it was like the day that I came home from Bachelors Grove is when the phone was lost. And then as soon as I had the spirit leave, I took a nap, went back to my friend's house that I was there. I was communicating with my laptop for these 3 days.
Okay.
And then my sister like messaged me, and she was like, "Hey, I just found your phone." And it was, at the time, I had 2 mattresses on the ground next to each other, so that way my floor was just bed. And that was the first place I looked. I checked there like every single time I was trying to
Never
look for my
turned up,
phone.
and then all of a sudden.
So you
it's there.
did check thoroughly.
Yes, I did
Yeah.
check
Okay.
That
thoroughly.
means your phone, you're going to freak out. You're looking for it, right?
So now
Right.
that was my next question: was did you finally have him banish him? He's gone.
Yeah,
Okay. So
you
what
just-
happened? Did he just kind of go on his own? And
right. I
Okay.
don't know what.
Could you
happened to him
describe
after
him
that.
more? I mean,
That was really the only, like, it didn't feel malicious.
okay.
But
mischievous, playful.
The only mischievous thing was he was just like doing shit to get my attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Wanted you to know
visually
he's around.
speaking, what
Okay.
could you describe this thing anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, you say it's tall. Was it short, fat? You know what I mean? Not
it
short, but
was-
Color,
like thin,
clothing,
fat.
Like-
anything. Yeah, any kind of descriptions.
It
Clothing.
was like thin to average build, kind of a black aura. But that's really all I remember of that.
Okay. All right. Well.
Do you have like an idea of like?
I just
the
get
people
lots
that
of
are there?
descriptions of a tall figure. That's all.
Oh, okay.
In
So
Bachelor's
Of
Grove-
course, I could give more details, but I want to get your end
Yeah,
of
in
it.
Bachelor's
you know.
Right,
Grove, it could
right.
be
I-
any
I've
of a
been
number
waiting
of-
a while
yeah.
anyway before I would say much more that I know about. You know.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, that was my last experience at Bachelor's Grove.
interesting.
Okay. I about 2 weeks ago spoke with a young lady that had an experience at Bachelor's Grove, and she said she won't go back there again either. She also too went with a friend, 2 girls, went to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, got to go there, and she says they were just in the cemetery, just walking around and looking at things and seeing what it was all about. And she says just from nowhere at all, a little girl, just this little blonde-haired girl wearing a white dress, just darted out and came across. And she said she saw this, like from the corner of her eye, and she told her girlfriend, "Come on, let's get out of here, let's go." She says, "What's the matter?" She said, "I don't want to tell you now, I just want to get out of here." And she says, "I definitely saw this. It was just a little girl. She ran across, she was wearing a white dress, she had long
Ran
blonde
across the
hair."
cemetery.
Cemetery. Yeah,
Okay.
she said she ran across, and she says, "That's it, I don't want to ever go back there again," so.
See, I don't get that sometimes. Like, why is everybody so afraid?
You shouldn't
because
really
I don't
be.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it wants,
Is
and I
that
don't
it?
know how to help it. Yeah.
I personally only been there once, and it was this year, and I unfortunately got attacked by the killer mosquitoes.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Yeah.
so I would love to go back
Yeah.
there and
That's the only
check
gang
it out.
that I am
That's-
afraid
yeah,
of
that's
back
why
there.
fall, late, early fall, late fall, when the mosquitoes kind of die down, it's a little better to go there.
Something really interesting, when I was younger, we would take a lot of pictures with the disposable cameras
Sure,
when
that's
those
what I did
existed.
all mine with. Yeah.
And I wish I still had the pictures, but it was crazy because the snow had just fallen and you could see footprints of only a right foot.
Interesting.
Peg leg
Yeah.
Willie. Huh?
Right.
Okay. Footprints of only 1 foot. Well, no, even if it was a peg leg, you'd still see a little.
Peg leg
dot
Johnny
there.
from
You'd see
Congress
mark.
came to
Yeah, you'd see
Bachelors
some kind of
Grove.
mark. That's interesting. There would just be
Peg
1
leg Johnny
foot.
Yeah,
from
it was
Congress came to
crazy.
Bachelors Grove.
What was that, Jace?
Peg leg Johnny from Congress came
Congress.
to
Yeah,
Bachelors
peg leg
Grove.
Johnny. Yeah, that haunts the Congress Hotel.
So
yeah.
walked a long way.
So your
Yeah.
parents took you there when you were a little kid, then.
Right. Right.
That you could have had that contact from you were a little kid.
Yeah.
Could've
Just
been.
visiting that area. I mean, maybe this is going to sound far-fetched, but it seems that just visiting that area actually has a physical effect on you.
Yeah, it does.
And
It
the more
does.
you do it, the more
Yeah.
Right.
it changes.
I go out there now. I
something.
get
Yeah,
I have
I
experiences out there, but
understand that.
mine aren't like the famous experiences. I don't see the Madonna of Bachelor's Grove, and I don't see the Yellow Suit Man. I see other things happen to me. One
Yeah.
time I was talking to 2 guys that I can't explain where they vanished off into. And just it just
The most
stuff like
most
that,
like
you
or the most active right now is like this flashing, pinging. It's like the size of a quarter or whatever you want to call it, and it's like brighter than the sun, brighter than a camera flash. You can imagine it like a camera flash,
Okay.
and it just pings. It doesn't spread out. It's just so confined. It's badass.
You were mentioning something about
Oh,
all
it's
of a
been
sudden
this
is coming
year's
around.
been the most active that I know.
See, yeah,
Yeah. So
How long have you been there?
since 1996, I've been doing it.
I was born in 1996.
Yeah, I'm pretty old. Yeah.
22 years then.
And not that one person is just more spiritual than the other. Sometimes it just maybe whatever that is has a message for that person, or for whatever reason chooses to reveal themselves to them. Maybe to that spirit, that person looks like something.
I
once
seem
knew.
to
You don't know.
like with the Grove. If you, it seems like if you don't try to record it, you don't try to do anything like that, it'll
You get
interact
better
with you more.
results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and that to me denotes even more intelligence.
Yeah, you're getting better results by not using the stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it's
But then
No
the only downside with that is then you
What's
don't have
that?
any proof.
Like no
Yeah.
expectations
So,
kind of
you know.
thing. Like
Well-
open mind, just.
well, usually a lot of things happen when you're not thinking about it.
Right.
But I mean, overall, if you're there and you really instigate it and you're not recording, it can happen.
For someone like me, when I went, I didn't attempt anything at all. I've never been there, so I just wanted to see what it was all about, kind of check the grounds out. I didn't get too far in, obviously. I got a little bit into, the woods area. The bugs were really bad. But what would your advice be for someone that is seriously trying to go in there, not a teenage kid, trying to mess around?
Well, there's a lot of beginner's luck, so to speak.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets to experience something on their first visit, but if you go there and you do, consider yourself a little special, I guess. I mean, you'll probably have more experience, at least
Okay.
there. There seems to be something to be said for that. I wouldn't worry too much about taking, photographs or anything right away. I mean,
Okay.
it's great, to get evidence or something like that. But I mean, a lot of this is a very personal experience.
Yeah.
At least this is something I seem to be learning over the years.
Okay.
There's a lot of personal stuff going on. I mean, if you're being followed home, that seems personal.
Right.
Most definitely,
very
it's a personal
personal.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've gotten a lot of great people that have come through here, and I really appreciate them all. Really, they've all added something to the show. I learned something from them, and hopefully, people that listen learn something from them too. And then there's Pete.
Yep. Then there was me,
And there's Pete.
who is going to be your first to be thrown off. the
No,
show.
you're not getting thrown off of anything. No, Pete's very outspoken about himself. If Pete sees something, he'll tell you like
You
it
go,
is.
Pete.
No, I'm holding back tonight.
We had we had a show here a couple of months ago that was very controversial, and it really actually it was
little
a
bit.
little more than a couple of months. It was just almost a year ago, and that show really opened up a can of worms that I was not expecting myself. I got you wouldn't believe the phone calls I got, negative and positive. and
That's
stuff.
right. I wanted to
no.
ask you about that.
Yeah, okay,
So
we'll
the
talk
lady,
about it.
talk another time.
Go ahead, talk.
Well, Lady Anne Headstone photograph. That's what we're talking about. The Bachelor's Grove, Lady Anne Headstone,
Okay.
famous photo.
So
So you had some people come forward claiming that they were the ones sitting on the stone.
I had one lady call me, Now, what we're talking about here, just in case you don't know, anytime you'll punch anything up on Bachelor Grove Cemetery on the internet or anywhere, a book you'll pick up on it, you'll see this famous
little
photo
did I know when I
of
started
a
out
woman
this
in white, a black and white
deal.
photo of a woman in white sitting on a
I know
tombstone.
exactly what that.
Yeah,
is.
we all know that, right? And then it came up on the one show. Actually, I didn't even bring the subject up.
I just knew personal details behind the scenes with Dale
the photo may
Kazmarek
not be
in his
real.
house.
It may have been
Conversations
faked.
for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. But you would not believe from that show. I still, some of these people that contact me, I don't even know how they got a hold of me. But I got phone calls from people. I got paranormal teams that said we would like to replicate the photo. I've had other people come on and say that the photo was indeed a fake. I've had other people come on and say no, that it was legitimate.
But I'm more interested in those supposed people
I have
that
one
claim
lady.
to
I
be
had
the
one
one
lady
sitting
that
down.
one lady called me and says I was the model that they used for that photo. I was the one that they dressed up. I was the model. But then I asked her who you are
It's
and
a
what's
real
your name
old
and everything.
photo.
Well, 1991. It's not that
Oh, I
old.
thought it was older.
No, it's not that old. It's August 10th, 1991 is when they took it. All that kind of thing. And, so it's just like it got to the point like, well, geez, I don't know. I didn't realize this was opening up a can of worms like it did. But nonetheless, it brought up a couple of sides to the story, which is okay.
Things that I
If it
just
gets
were
people
uncomfortable
thinking,
with the
if
whole
it gets
thing.
people thinking, that's okay, So is the photo real or is it not real? Well, evidence is kind of leaning both ways, really, to be honest with you. So
Was it more for advertising?
might
You
have.
think?
the young lady that actually
Yes.
took the photo, her name is Jude Huff, and I've actually everything happens to me in threes. I've actually met 3 people claiming to be Jude Huff. Two turned out to be imposters. I've actually never met the real Jude Huff in person, but I have spoken with her on phone. She doesn't live in the area.
She's
anymore.
not very open unless.
Oh, she was with me. She was very.
well,
she
no,
was very
I'm
nice
talking
with me.
about
She was
going
very-
on your program. Going
Yeah,
that
yeah.
look, or-
She did want to come on in January. Then she changed that date. Then she was going to come on again in actually September 8th. Last week she was in town, and she asked me to meet, but I couldn't. I had a prior commitment. I couldn't meet with her then. But now she's going to be coming back in town in October, and that was the one I was really counting. But now, as it turns out, we're not going to be able to get together in October either because she's coming in for Saturday and Sunday. We don't do the show on Saturday and Sunday. John DeVita is gone for the weekends. We can do it during the week anytime. I would even change the date during the week.
What about
where
over
she's
the
gonna
phone?
Be here. We're going to do a phone interview. That's what we've talked about that via the internet. We've spoken.
I mean, just for the sake of having it done.
No, but Jude,
that's fine.
her name is Judy Huff, and she's the actual girl that took the photo. It was taken by the Ghost Research Society, who Dale Kazmarek happens to be president of that, and he actually has been on this show a few times. And right after that show, he came on to defend it and say things about the photo and that. But the evidence is sort of leaning 2 ways, like it's.
So you've only had one person come forward claiming to be the person sitting on the stone?
One person came forward saying they were the model. One person said they were
Okay.
model, but other people said they were there and that it was not done.
And they didn't want to give their names.
But people don't want to give it.
But
See,
what's
people
the
tell me
problem
this.
with it? I'm lost here on this whole thing.
Well, the
What-
photo may not
oh.
be authentic, is what the problem is. That's what the problem is. They're
And
I'm
your
actually
beef
going to do
is
like a
what?
mini little documentary on
Yeah,
it
go
probably.
ahead,
at
because
some
I'm
point.
lost. I'm interested in hearing about it.
No, the
actually.
authenticity of the photo. They're actually saying that the photo is doctored. It's.
Well, I
faked
wouldn't
and this
say
and
it's doctored as far as, somebody's in Photoshop, okay? Not that kind
No,
of doctoring.
it's not that kind of doctoring. No,
No.
because we've kind of covered the Photoshop.
I mean, I have my
and
opinion. I can tell you what I've heard straight from the horse's mouth from Dale. Things I probably should never have said. And he's called me basically a liar a little bit about it. But, I mean, technically, when that photograph was sent to the Sun-Times, he had touched up that photo before it was sent to the Sun-Times. Now, whether it was my reaction, my tone, whatever, the facial expression, he did not want to continue to tell me what exactly were you editing with a pencil. Now, I can only make an assumption that it was some shadow stuff, but that's just total speculation. But he stopped it going that far with the conversation. And I thought, wow, this guy is telling me he basically doctored up a photo so that nobody else would think it was a doctored photo. Because he didn't want. That's what I asked him. I go, why would you even touch it?
I don't get
Because
it.
I didn't want people believing it wasn't real.
Well, supposedly this is like a great paranormal
For
photograph.
Dale.
Well, no, for paranormal in general,
Oh.
and for the
You know,
Ghost
he
Research
believes it's
Society.
real.
Yeah.
And that's when I asked him, because we would sit down with all of his archives, and I would say, well, where's the photo? You got all this stuff on Bachelor's Grove. Where is that photo? Because what we see in the Sun-Times is a cropped up thing. He goes, I don't have it.
And that's true. He did.
Oh.
He did
And he
say
said on
that.
your show,
He did
I don't
he
have
did
a
say it on
reason
the
for
sh-
why I
he
don't
did
have
say
it.
it on the show. When I
No,
had
I know the
I had
reason.
him come on the show afterwards, and he did says, I have no explanation for it, but I
His
do not
reason
have an
was
original print.
he was claiming legal status on the photograph because she was part of the group. And she got upset over that. So she did not want to give him a copy of it.
Anyway, all I'll say about that is after we did that show, I invited Dale Kismerick to come on because, like I said, he's been on this show and also too when I was doing my shows at WARG, he came on there,
Right.
and he's a great guy. I have no problems with Dale Kismerick. He was invited to come on and speak on his behalf.
Yeah, Dale. This is not Bob's
Jude
fault.
Jude was invited to come back on.
I was supposed to mention on November 10th. He's supposed to be at the church over.
Yeah, no, Dale.
Yeah.
Great guy. No, I have no problems with Dale Kismerick at all. Nothing.
You know what? I've never really met the guy.
Mhm.
You know, I see how he sells books and stuff like that,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I really
uh-huh.
never talked to him.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
talk to a lot of people, actually. I don't know.
No,
why.
anytime somebody comes on and they want to say something about somebody and the person's not here to defend themselves or say anything on their behalf, I always invite them to come on. I want them to come on and, say something.
I
on
hold a
their
lot of
behalf,
people's stuff in confidence, but
so
there
yes,
are
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
some extremely rare times where there's very sensitive topics like that.
I never even knew
well,
this was
I gotta open
Oh,
my
that
mouth.
show you wouldn't
Yeah, me
believe,
either.
yeah. But anyway, Judy Huff talked. She called me from. Well, I don't want to say where she lives, but anyway, she lives far away.
Is that Steve House?
I don't know I don't know if she's related to Steve Huff or
Okay.
who. I don't know. But anyway, she called me. We talked for about 2 hours on the phone and everything like that. And she was telling me all about the photo and everything like that. And she holds to her guns that it is an original photo and that is.
And I hope it
it's
is
the
real.
truth.
I hope
It's
it
the
is a
truth, yeah.
ghost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
But I have issues with the whole thing.
My only question was when I had Mr. Kismerick come back on the show. Now the show we're talking about here, where this all came up, was a show done last year in October. And then I, of course, immediately invited them all, come back on if you want to say something in your defense on this. You're all invited to come on the show. I don't
And
want
you were here
anybody.
too?
No, that would have caused a fight if I was here.
No, I didn't want.
No,
that's
be
what
more
people said.
neutral.
They said, "Why don't you get them all on there at once?" I said, "No,
There was
I'm
a
not
lot of
running- I'm
questions
not
I
running."
wanted to
I
ask.
says, "No, I'm not running."
I'm like, Bob, you're not asking. Oh, why
People
did you ask
said, people
this or
said, "Why
that?"
don't you get them all on at the same time?" And I says, "No, I'm not doing a Jerry Springer show here.
Right.
I'd rather have everybody
Right.
come on and
That's
say
what
what they
it would've
want to
turned
say
into.
and say their
A
own
round table
defense,
discussion.
like that, rather
Yeah.
than people coming on and arguing and everything.
And it
talking
turns
over
into
each
he
other.
said, he said kind of thing. And it's
Yeah,
like,
and
okay,
I don't want that. I
whatever
want
then.
everybody to explain what they have to say, like
Gotcha.
that thing. And so Dale Kismerick came on, and I did ask him. I says, "Who were?" Now this is on the follow-up show on this. I asked him who were the people, that photographic experts that supposedly looked at the photo, and he did mention one gentleman's name. But
From
he
Kodak,
says-
that guy?
Yeah, Mr. Zabruta.
Yeah,
but he
and they
says-
didn't even provide a negative for analysis because Dale was being forbidden from even touching it.
Well, what he said was he could not tell if it was infrared or not. But then my
Well,
feeling
at first look, it does look regular black and white.
but then my feeling is if you're a photographic expert, you should be able to tell.
Eventually, when you look
instantly.
at the dress that's transparent
Yeah,
and a guy who knows his optics.
Anyway, there's kind of pro and con about this now, but
Right.
for the time being, what I'm saying is the photo is legitimate and it is real until sufficient evidence comes up that proves it to be not. And if I'm wrong about that, I'll correct myself and I'll say that I was wrong. I was misinformed on it and everything. But for the time being, I'm going to say just for the
You're
benefit
just doing a
of the
little
people who've
journalistic
done it.
reporting.
Oh yeah, like that. I don't want to, that kind of thing like that.
I
but
hear you.
but
I'll
anyway,
take the heat.
like I says, I can't really believe,
Fine.
the can of worms that thing really opened up. It really did.
It sounds like
yeah,
it. Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot. Yeah.
It was actually one of those things where, and maybe it sounds
I
bad.
got-
I wanted to wait until Dale actually died before I said anything, because the whole thing just sounds really bad. It's the truth, but it just sounds really bad. All the little details
Well,
I got.
what have you got to say about any of this, Jason?
He's-
I'm gonna leave that for another show. 'cause-
Speechless.
you guys said it all.
Well, you're friends with Ursula, so go back and ask Ursula about the supposed boyfriend or something that was going to come forward and say that they were the one dressed up in a dress or something sitting on the stone.
See?
A boyfriend?
But that person,
Oh.
yeah, it was like some weird twisted story that I didn't even believe. But that
Oh,
person
See, there
never
are
showed up.
strange stories going on.
Yeah,
about
right.
this.
Somebody
Yeah,
comes
there are-
forward, says
yeah.
I was the one there.
Like I said,
Well,
I got
that's
called.
what it's up today.
What's
I
going on
got
here?
called by a woman that called me on and how this person was and how she got my number. I have no idea, but she told me I was the person that they used for the model. And I said, well, who are you? And can I talk with you and this kind of thing? And no. And I said, well, then basically what you're telling
It's
me
all
is
BS
information
then,
I
yeah.
can't
Yeah.
use. It really is. So it really meant nothing. But I got contacted by no less than 3 different paranormal investigative teams, and they wanted to use equipment to replicate the photo and just all sorts
Replicating
of
it's going to be
things.
extremely easy.
It would be very
It's
difficult
gonna be
because
really
a lot of the
easy.
equipment, even though
So what is it
1991 is
gonna
not that
prove
long
if
ago,
you can replicate it.
well,
Really, what's it going to really prove?
that it could be done, basically. That's it. That it could
I
be
mean-
faked and it could be done.
Of course it can be done to replicate. No?
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's about it for that. Yeah. Wow. That's what happens when you say goodbye to Pete. It goes on for another hour and a half. Yeah. We're just basically signing off, and poor Jason is sitting there. And what have you got to say for yourself here, Jason?